What's up, people? It's your man ThaBlackCobra back once again, and today I'm super excited to finally be able to bring you the big guys review on the veteran Sherman S. Let's go. Let's go. So I'm super excited today. I got an opportunity to ride this wheel. I didn't get a chance to do as much as I really wanted to because the weather has really sucked for quite a while now. However, I was able to bring this along with the V13 out and do a dual demo both in Boston and in Springfield, which shed some real interesting light on this wheel. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to FreeMotionShop and say thank you because they have provided this wheel for today's review. First, they provided this wheel to Seth Johnson, E-Ride Life. He did a very in-depth review, so I want to say shouts out to him and thank you. I appreciate him. You can check that out here, also in the description. Then it went over to Nick, Big Boy Fast Boy. He did a very good review also, giving you the opportunity to see what this wheel could do with range, with a heavy rider who had equipment on as well. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. If you haven't seen that review, check that out here, or you can check it out in the description section. I will have both of these videos listed. You definitely want to check out both of these reviews. Now, as part of the Amped Electric team, we are doing our best to bring you these wheels, give you these reviews, give you these facts and this information so that you can do your job and make a decision. It's not very easy in today's world when we have so many EUCs to choose from. So we're just giving you different perspectives on these wheels, and in this particular one, the veteran Sherman S. Now, let's get to this wheel and talk about it. Before I move on, FreeMotionShop did a great job in working with Librachem, and they developed a membrane to go in the battery compartment that will help for water resistance and fire retardation. Now that is something that is special to FreeMotionShop. So if you're looking to get a veteran Sherman S, definitely consider FreeMotionShop, as they are doing a great job in working with Librachem for these new safety features. So as I mentioned before, Seth Johnson did a great job going into very detailed review. What I want to do today is I want to give you the big guys review. I want you to know, now I know as well, Nick did a great job being a big guy himself and letting you know how it felt to him. I want to give you my review, letting you know what this big guy thinks about it, because this wheel has definitely made an impression on me. Let me talk about the suspension first and foremost. The suspension is what makes this wheel different than any other wheel, any other electric unicycle on the market right now, period. There is no other wheel like this one. There is no other wheel that can do what this one can do. Now, that being said, the suspension is special because it's a hydraulic oil suspension, and it's made by Fast Ace. If you're not familiar with Fast Ace, they are strictly a shock and suspension company. They are responsible for the Sur-Ron suspension. They are also responsible for a lot of mountain bike suspensions. Now, they partnered with Librachem. Librachem was smart enough to know, hey, we don't really know suspension, but they do. And they did a great job because this suspension, the fact that they allow you to make the adjustments right up top, you don't have to take it apart, you don't have to unscrew caps underneath, you don't have to put air in it, you don't have to monitor the air, you don't have to do any of that. You can make your adjustments here on the top with these tiny, you can insert a screwdriver and turn that. And you can also use a wrench to make adjustments here. Now, one does compression and one does rebound. So you can adjust the amount that it compresses, and you can adjust the amount that it rebounds back after the compression. That in itself is very unique because they're handled by one on one side and the other on the other side. And you would think that that would make it a little lopsided, but whatever magic they sprinkled on it, it works. Let me tell you, because this is the best, hands down, suspension I have ever been on any electric vehicle, period. Period. Now, I know that's saying a lot, but I'm telling you, this suspension is super cushy. Now, it comes in two varieties. There's a 58 pound and a 62 pound. This is the 62 pound, and it's heavier, or it's for heavier riders. And honestly, I will agree with Seth Johnson on that. I would suggest you get the heavier one, even if you're a lighter rider, because you can make the adjustment. And this wheel here it can be adjusted, and I didn't even do a lot of adjusting. And as I mentioned, I did a double demo. I did a demo with this and the V13 and brought it out to Boston and Springfield. And the people that were there were a wide variety. We had a couple people that were 125 pounds, and then we had a 6'9", 300-pound gentleman who has been riding an OG Sherman for a year. So talk about huge differences, right? I didn't make any adjustments to the suspension, and both of those people, or both of those categories of people, and everybody in between rode this wheel. Nobody had a complaint about the suspension. Everybody had rave reviews about the suspension. That's how good the suspension on this wheel is. Now, I'm spending a lot of time on the suspension because that is the pièce de résistance when it comes to this wheel. When it comes to all EUCs, this wheel has made, it basically has dropped the gauntlet and let everyone know and put everyone on notice that this is the big boy in town when it comes to suspension. Now that I've driven that point all the way home, I'll go into the rest of the specs of this wheel, which I'm sure you're already familiar with. You already know that this is a 3,000 watt motor. It's a 100-volt wheel. That's something that everybody had a little bit of a problem with because all of the newer wheels were coming out as 126 volts or 134 volts. And it felt like the 100-volt wheel was a thing of the past already. We did make that jump rather quick, however. We went from 84 volts to 100 volts and then instantly jumped to 126 and 134. So I was one of the doubters. I will admit, I was like, there's no way 100-volt wheel, I'm going to be on board. It's just not going to happen. However, whatever special sauce they did on the suspension, they didn't quite have enough left to make the 100 volts feel as zippy as I wanted it to be, because I will tell you that is one thing it does not have. It is not the same zippiness as my Master that I have. Of course, that one has the P42A batteries in it, and it has a lot of torque. So once I was riding this for a few days and really enjoying it and loving it, then I got back on my Master, and I could tell that there is a difference. This is not as torquey off the line as a Master. It's just not. This is not a race wheel where you're going to get that same instant zing that you get when you're riding a Master and you're trying to race with it. However, it does get off the line like, you know, like it should. It does have enough power. It does have enough torque to make you feel like you're on a well-made EUC. I didn't have any complaints at all when riding it. I was smiling the whole time. The only time I even felt a difference is, like I said, when I got back on my Master, I said, oh, okay, I guess there is a little bit of difference. The Master does have more torque and more zip to it than the Sherman S does. Now, as far as the battery is concerned, 3,600 watt-hour battery, and this has the 50E Samsung 21700 cells in it, and that's what it's sporting for batteries. It has a dual charger port in the front, and that dual charger port will allow you to charge collectively or combined up to 15 amps. So you can charge this wheel at up to 15 amps and charge it up to the 100 volts that's needed. So depending on whether you're using one or two chargers, that'll get you there between 3 and 8 hours to get to the full charge that you're going to need to get this wheel up and running. It does have a dual layer control board in this particular wheel. Now, let's talk about speed. I haven't talked about speed. If you've been watching my Instagram, my YouTube shorts, you would see that I posted a couple videos on the lift test on this wheel. And I'm sure by now you've heard about the high speed mode that everyone was talking about. There's a couple of things in there that we should talk about. Now, LeaperChem was hearing all the complaints about the speed on this wheel. People were saying that it should be faster, being a brand new wheel, that there's no way that it should not go at least 50 miles an hour, and it was beeping too early, and people were not happy. So LeaperChem did it through software, were able to unlock high speed mode. Now, high speed mode, if you're not familiar with it, it does raise the high speed of the wheel or the speed limit of the wheel. However, it does that by sacrificing a little bit of that cushion that you had when it comes to the cutoff point of the wheel. Now, you know, once you push your wheel to a certain extent and beyond what it can give you is when you get a cutout. Now, there's a cushion there so that you can hear the beeps and you know that you're getting to that cutout, and then it will stop you from riding any faster. Leaperchem had it set. Now I'm just going to throw out numbers because I don't know specifics, but they probably had it set to about 70% from what I understand. And then high speed mode changes that to 80%. So it gives you less of a cushion. Or instead of a 30% cushion, you now have a 20% cushion. So the beeps that would have started at 70% now start at 80%. So you only have 20% cushion to where you would get to the cutoff. That's how they made speed mode a thing. Now, some people don't understand that and they think, oh, they just made it faster. And no, they unlocked that speed. So the wheel already would do that, but they had it limited. So what they did was decrease the limiter that they had put on it. Is that good or bad? It put it in the same range where the Begold wheels are. So I would not say it's a super bad thing, depending on how you feel about Begold wheels and their safety margins. Now, doing 2 lift tests. In low speed mode, my lift test got me 64 or 65.4. Take about 15 miles per hour off of that. You could safely do 50 miles per hour and be comfortable. And then my high speed lift test got me 74.7 miles per hour. So take about 15 miles per hour off of that and you can get to 60 miles per hour. Now, am I going to do 60 miles per hour on this wheel? No. But the high speed mode after the lift test makes it seem like it might be possible. I would not suggest you push the Sherman S beyond 50, 53, 54 miles per hour. These are speeds that are at the upper limit of this wheel. 50, I know I can do. I just did it the other day, so I know it's possible. However, I don't do it on a regular basis. I do travel about 40, 45 miles per hour on a regular basis. Now let's talk range. I didn't get a chance to do a real full range test. However, I didn't really need to. Nick, Big Boy Fast Boy, did a range test for me. He weighed in with his gear at 276 pounds. I weigh 235 and I always have, gear on. So I know I am well below that 276 that he had with all the gear he was wearing at the time. He got 72 miles out of this wheel. Now, mind you, he did ring the wheel out to get 72 miles, but getting around 70 miles is crazy good, in my opinion, for a 100-volt heavy wheel. Speaking of that, the wheel itself is 100 pounds. Now, that's a lot of weight. The 100-pound wheel, my 235 plus my gear, riding, and I know that I can, so I average in my head about 50 miles. As long as I can get 50 miles out of the wheel, I'm good. Would I like a long range wheel that I can get a lot more out of? Sure. I have a Monster Pro, at least for a little while longer till I sell it. And that is a wheel that, I can get, really good range out of. The Master Pro, another wheel that is right now, I believe, is still the range king. This is not that. However, 50, 60, 70, 72 miles, pretty decent for the veteran Sherman S, I would say. I spoke about power and torque. It doesn't have that off-the-line torque, but it does have decent torque where you feel good. When you lean on it, it does respond and you feel really good about it. It's not, like I said, until you get on a Master with the P42A batteries like I did, that you will even feel a difference. All the other wheels are not going to compare to it. So like I also was riding the S22 not that long ago. This is definitely more torquey than that. So it just depends on what you're riding and what you're doing with it, I guess. Let's talk about the tire. This is a 20-inch Kenda tire. I am a big fan of knobby tires. Now, there are different knobby tires. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it has to do with the rim that they put on here. The rim on this, by the way, is excellent. Very sturdy, very durable, hasn't been broken. And Seth put it through its paces with him and his team. They all did a lot of jumping with it, a lot of stairs with it. No dents, no wobbles, no breaks. The rim is amazing. The tire, however, if you remember when the Master came out and when the EX20S came out, and even when the Hero came out, I tried all of them and I hated the way the tire was on it. The rim and the tire formed like a more of a flat spot, and you kind of drooped over, and it was a drastic feeling and I hated it. I couldn't wait to change that. This, however, on this rim, this tire feels great. I haven't had one complaint out of anybody at all who got on this wheel. The only thing I heard was, oh, I might think about putting a street tire on it. But they didn't complain about this tire. They're just used to street tires, so they were thinking about it. The only thing this tire gives you that some people may not like is the road noise. The road noise, to me, I love it. I missed it when I didn't have it. My Master had a street tire on it for a short period of time, and I quickly changed it to a Shinko 244 and got right back into the sound. I like the hum that the knobby tires give you. It gives you a little bit of noise. People can hear you as you're coming up and they get out of your way. It's just a little bit of added extra help. And I love the feel and the ability to jump from street at any time to off-road, because you never know the road conditions, and then to jump right back to street. Very versatile. This is why I love having a knobby tire, a good knobby tire that feels good. And this is one of those. As you know about the veteran Sherman S, it does have a trolley hand, an integrated trolley handle here that you have to use two hands for because it's not spring loaded. It has a pad on it. I won't even call it really a seat. This is another source of frustration for me. I wish that this had more padding on it. I'm gonna have to come up with something else to make it doable for me. It's too low for me to sit on with that little pad on it. So I definitely need a bigger seat. I believe Clark Pad recently came out with a seat extension that's pretty tall that I'm looking to get, and I think that'll be great on this wheel, and it'll be something that will give me the ability to sit on it, because so far I haven't been able to sit on this wheel comfortably without my knees killing me. So it was very short-lived, only a matter of seconds. So that's something this big boy did not like. Now let's talk about the headlight. An excellent headlight. This headlight it's adjustable. You can adjust it up and down. It's a 2000 lumen, 18 watt dual bulb light, and it casts a very good stream. It's very powerful, very versatile because you can move it. The taillight also is very versatile because it is movable, but the taillight also has blinkers or turning lights. It has warning lights. It also has lasers. If you turn the lasers on, they can shoot out of the back tail light that will illuminate on the ground and give you the ability to be seen a little bit better. I personally don't really think they do all that much, but I do think they're a novel idea and something that I think we can build on in the future. All right, now I'm going to bring it to ride feel. Now, I think you can get how I feel about the ride on this wheel just by how I've spoken about it so far, but let me tell you, this wheel is amazing to ride. I really do feel like I found the holy grail of wheels right now. Now, I'm sure that other wheels will come around, and I was trying with my Master to make adjustments to change the shock, looking for getting the new linkage and hoping that that will give me some of the feel that I was looking for when I got this. This, wow, 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 wow. That's all I can say. This is truly the powerhouse Cadillac of EUCs. Now let's talk about price and value. Another source of frustration is the price of electric unicycles right now. They're all around $4,000, and this is no different. And the issue I have with that, obviously, is because I feel like it's a lot for these wheels. However, that's how much they're costing. Batteries are hard for them to find. Shipping is very difficult for these companies. So FreeMotion is doing their best to try and bring us the best value that they can. So I definitely think that the price is not something I'm happy with, but it is something that I believe if you're going to buy one of the new electric unicycles today, I believe this is the one that's worth it. And that's because it's the most all-around unicycle that you're gonna find right now. It's got enough positives in all the categories to offset the negatives that I feel that this is pound for pound the best overall wheel out right now. So I've talked about the pros and cons. You know that the seat, the price, things like that are cons for me. The fact that it doesn't have the off-the-line rip torque that the Master has, that's can be a con for some people. I didn't feel it until, like I said, until I got off of it. While I was riding it, I did not feel it at all. So as far as pros and cons are concerned, it has way more pros than it does cons. The suspension, the build quality. I didn't get on the build quality, but this has the magnesium case, these very strong and sturdy handles on the front and the back that help offset that 100-pound weight when you're trying to lift it. I love that. I also didn't get a chance to talk about the kickstand yet. This kickstand, to me, some people complained about it, but I absolutely love it. I think it's a well-made, well-placed kickstand, and I have used it so often, I just can't see having a wheel without it. It's also one of the best made so far in the EUC game. The mud guard on the back, they did a good job with the mud guard. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out what you're going to do because obviously with several wheels, I've already come up with some nice solutions. However, this already has a good solution. The way that it's made, the bolts that they use, the casing that they used, the only other complaint that I have about this wheel are the pedals. Although they are adjustable, which is good because a lot of people are liking that feature, and you can extend them to make them longer if you have extremely large feet and you want larger pedals. And I feel they're large enough so you don't really need that. But the cons, the negatives with the pedal are that the ridges in between the pedal are a little bit higher than the spikes, so you can't really get grip on these pedals. It looks like they're grippy, they should be grippy, and I guess it depends on if you have some unique shoes that may be able to reach the grips in certain spots, but for the most part, they're not really all that grippy. The good thing is that when you have a pad, like I have the Clark pad here, right here, the Titan pad, and when I put it down low enough that I slide my foot and lock my foot on there, I can lock my foot on the pedal, and then the pedals are not really that big of a deal. I do right now love the E-Rides pedals, are my favorite pedals, and I want to get those on here because I saw someone, I posted a video earlier today, a friend of mine, Linda, she got the E-Rides pedals for her Sherman S, and wow, what a difference. So this also is another negative in my book. However, still with these negatives, best overall wheel yet. And I can tell you that the big guy's review on this wheel is very, very good, even with the negatives I mentioned. This is definitely a wheel that I would suggest to anyone. The only thing I would say is that if you're new in the EUC game, it is very heavy, so it would be hard for you to learn to ride. So I probably would not suggest this for newbies, but anybody that already is a rider that's been riding for a year and you're ready to upgrade, I would definitely give you a nod and a nudge toward the veteran Sherman S. They did a hell of a job coming from the original OG Sherman. That was a huge success. The Sherman Max, that also was a huge success. And now the Sherman S, I think, is the trifecta for veteran Sherman. I think they really did their thing when it comes to this wheel. I can't say enough positive about it, and I'm happy that this wheel is here, and I can't wait to do some more riding. The only other complaint I have is the weather hasn't been good enough because I want to go out and ride it every day. I want to bring it back into the woods. If you saw some of my videos when I first got it, first thing I did was took it out in the woods and went zipping, lost one of these pads on it, had to go back to the woods the next day to get that same pad, rode it near the railroad tracks, on the railroad tracks, had a lot of fun with this wheel already. It's definitely a good wheel to ride in any condition. Riding it off-road, I had fun. Riding it in the woods, definitely had fun. Jumping it, Seth did a hell of a job jumping it with all his team over there. Long range, it's not super long range, but it's decent range. How about we put it that way? Because Nick, Big Boy, Fast Boy, let us see that you can do 72 miles on this wheel. you might be walking then, but you can do 72 miles on this wheel. So this wheel has a lot to offer. If you had a question in this and it wasn't answered in this video, then I don't know what you were watching. So let me tell you, if you have any questions, hit me down in the comments below. I love to converse back and forth. I always get questions and stuff afterwards, and I am always ready to answer anything that I can and hope that I can give you my opinion as a big guy riding these EUCs. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. Go ahead, hit subscribe. Please come back and check me out again. And as I said, the Anth Electric Games team, we're bringing these wheels to you, and we thank you for paying attention. We thank you for watching, and we hope that we've helped you in all that we're doing. Till next time, it's your man, Black Cobra. Deuces. And I'm out.